Thank God. The noise upstairs is not like the last time. Oh, it was a mess. And that's one of the videos that we lost in the whole phone, actually. But I think also the video
It wasn't meant to be
it's
there.
not meant to be there. Because it was such an intense conversation. And then the noise from the neighbors. Hello. I never know how to say hello. Hello. No. Hey, hi.
You know what? You sound like me before I go and interact with people at school. Practice how to say hello.
That's hectic.
I don't know.
Why would you want to
Because I don't like speaking to people. So, because when I walk around school, people say I have a resting bitch face. So whenever I walk around school and my friends see me, they're like, "Hi, what is it?" They're like always reminding me to smile. Like, you look so angry. Like, you just look up so upset. And I'm like, I'm not even doing anything. I'm just walking with my phone in my hand and I'm going to my class. So literally, like, I need to know how to be like, "Oh my gosh, hi guys," because I don't like anybody at school. So
it reminds me of there's that girl on Instagram, and she says, and she's also like practicing how she's gonna greet people. She's like, "Hello," and she's like, "No, I have to at least pretend like I'm happy." Sure, but that's hectic having to prepare to go say hello.
not really. I do it in my head. So that, I do it in my head most of the time. I like talk to myself like, okay, you're going to school, you're going to go see people that you don't like. You're going to see teachers that you don't like, but you're going to have to go through because every school is like this. You're going to meet people that you don't like. But at least try get through the day. Try smile, you know?
With that said, hello. That's not pretense, that's really, I just don't know how to say.
You don't know how to greet.
For me, greeting is like small talk. It's like we must just get into. But
Because
and
then
that's
at work, but like at work, at school, it's not never just like a hello, like you know when you greet them, it's like a what's up, like how you doing?
yeah, it's like I want to already get into a conversation. I'm gonna be doing this a lot, so I just did my nail. Anyway, hey guys, how you doing? I feel like it's been a minute. It's been forever.
Not even a minute, it's been a long time.
It's been a while since we've been on here. Partly because I think we sent a video out just
explaining everything.
Explaining that Azzy was on, we'll say Azzy was on leave, but she was studying. She was busy with the exams.
And major production.
Oh yes, and she was also doing the show, her show at school, which is called Major Production.
No.
Okay, so the
show,
the
that
extra
we were
mural
doing-
is called Major Production.
Yes, the show we were doing was High School
Musical, and it takes
It takes 9 months.
9 months for them to rehearse, and then they put up this big show at the end of all of the rehearsals. And this one I really, really enjoyed.
I also enjoyed it. Better
than the other one. But it was so nice to watch Azzy in her element, performing and singing and dancing, and she played one of the cheerleaders. And I was watching with her little brother Khanya, and he was just smitten.
Khanya was over the world.
He was smitten. He was just like, I kept on. He was just so excited seeing Azzy on stage. So it was that. It was exams, and now we are back.
I'm relaxing.
I'm relaxing too. Relaxing is a word that Khanya uses for relaxing, and it stuck. Like it just it became the family word.
The word. You don't say
relaxing.
relaxing, you relaxing.
Yeah. But I've missed this place. I've missed us interacting with everyone. We actually, now that it's winter, we hardly sit on the couch.
We're right there on the floor on the carpet next to the heater.
So we've missed the blue couch. We've missed the space, healing on the blue couch.
The only time you're ever on it is when you sleep.
As if I'm passed out. Sometimes I really just want to pass out on this couch because it hugs you. There's something that it does. It just loves you and you just want to sleep.
Blanket
And it doesn't
so
matter
cozy.
whether you get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, you're just like, actually, I'm going to carry on sleeping here. So yeah, Azzy, you must say hello. Hi, bro. You're the reason why we haven't been
Hi,
here.
B. Hi, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say because you pretty much said everything, like you always do.
Okay.
Not a bad thing.
Whatever. But what I'm going to do is, maybe there's new people that are watching this. Just gonna introduce myself. I am Nombuso, the mother of this joint, this house, this hizo, this palace.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is my beautiful daughter.
Azil. You, Azil.
Hey.
I'm so used to people calling me Azil. I'm Azile, the daughter of this place, the chef, you know. The chef. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's Khanya, which you guys will see him now and then
Pop up every now and
because
then. My
he
son.
likes to be in front of the camera. That's the little one. The
the baby of the house.
the grandpa of the house.
Hey, also because he's literally a grandpa in an
In a child's body.
8-year-old's body. My son is old, guys. Like the conversations,
The words.
the things he says, his mindset, his thought process,
The way he stands.
the conversations he has. It's just like, oh, have you been here before?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, every now and then you'll see him pop up. If he doesn't, great. If he does, also great. Yeah, so again, we'll just, for those that don't know, this is Healing on the Blue Couch with myself and my daughter Azile, and we have these conversations as a means to just, get to know each other better. We always say our conversations are not rehearsed, they're not scripted. We literally just go with it, with the feeling, with whatever conversation that comes up at that particular moment in time. We try our best to engage very deeply and sensitively, obviously, because it is a relationship that we are, what's the word? We are,
A relationship we're building.
yeah,
and
we're
healing.
building, because I come from an environment where, I wouldn't just sit with my mom and have the sort of conversations that Azzy and I engage in. And I think along the way, you guys will notice, we do have 2 videos up so far. Was it 2 or 3?
It's 2.
2 videos up on YouTube if you want to track back to the conversations we've had so far. We want to speak about everything that maybe the norm won't speak about as a mother and a daughter. And this came also from just, growing up in a background where, like certain conversations weren't had when I was growing up. It was always hush-hush, maybe between adults, and there's a lot of things that could have been different, maybe in my upbringing or my siblings' upbringing, if only certain conversations were had. So that's what we are trying to bring. We're trying to just bring also just to light to other families, to other moms and daughters, or to other moms who have teenagers, that, you know what, if you really want to build a strong bond with your daughter or your son, or I'll always refer, because I've got a daughter who's a teenager, I'll always refer to Azzy and just say, if you ever want to have a good relationship with your daughter, open up, and allow them the space to also just open up and be themselves around you. So whenever there are things that are really, really happening, you are the first to kind of notice and see, and don't be afraid to engage. And I think that's the one thing I always push Azile with, and I push myself with, because even for me, it's not easy.
It's not something you're used to.
Yeah, it's not something I'm used to. It's not something, so it's literally constantly being reminded every time I'm around Azzy, and I'll also do it with Khanya as well, because I'm trying to get used to, get him used to that, as much as I'm bonding with my daughter, but also I want my son to also feel included, in the sense that if he ever wants to come through and speak about whatever's bothering him, whether it's a good feeling, a bad feeling, a sad feeling, I want to know about it. I want the same for them. I want them to know that I'm human too. You know, I'm not perfect. I go through things. I cry, which was a hard thing before for me to do. I get upset. I'm happy at times or joyful at times. What's that? And yeah, that sometimes I need space. I need time out, because being a mother, specifically a mother who is alone here in the whole household, with the kids, and I say alone because I parent Azzy alone, but I don't parent Khanya alone. Khanya I co-parent, and Azzy I parent alone. So, but I live with the both of them, and sometimes that can be, it's a soft place and it can be a hard place at the same time. So yeah, so that's what this couch is about, and this our channel is about. It's just about speaking, and yeah, and getting closer as we communicate, as we get to know each other, as we grow, because as much as Azzy is growing in age, in wisdom, in knowledge, I am the same, you know, because as much as I'm her mom, I don't know everything, and I will never know everything. I'm not God. I'm a human being. I'm having an experience, and I've never had a daughter before who's 15 going on 16. I've never had a son before who's 8 years old. It's all a new experience all the time, every time. And you will find that most of the time I'm always the one talking, and I try to have Azzy talk, but she sits there and she stares at me.
Because I'm a listener. I listen.
Okay. So, tell us about your exam, dear lady. How was that? How was going through?
You know, my exams, they were much calmer than last year. And I was talking to my therapist about this. And I'm like, every time I'd go into my exam, or I'd wake up in the morning before an exam, I'd pray that I stay calm and I stay focused. And then whenever I get out of the exam, because I'd also pray like before I write. And I'm like, I'd get out of the exam and I'd feel like something is wrong, because I was calm.
Is this now or then?
Now,
Okay.
like I'm like this time I was much more calmer than I was last year term 2.
Previously, other exams.
But yeah, and then I'm like, I feel like I should be stressing when writing an exam, because I think I've gotten too used to that. But it's like, maybe there's a sense of calmness when you are focused, because I felt much focused. But then it's like I prayed to be calm and to be focused during the exam season, and I got that.
Focused on
my exams.
Just
and
on your exams, or have you been focused the whole term? Like with schoolwork, and then okay, I'm calm because I've been focused on my school work, so I know what I'm doing.
The whole time.
Okay.
So I pray for a sense of focus and a sense of peace of mind, and like peace in my heart, and just a sense of peace and understanding.
Okay.
And that when I got that, it just didn't feel right.
Okay.
It felt very foreign. It's like it makes me suspicious. Like, when I was telling you the other day, when there's like this girl, she's praying to God and she's like, God, please give me my soulmate and send me my soulmate. And then she gets a call from an unknown number, and she's like, don't ever call this number again. I don't know how you got my number. And then God is like, but like, you just asked me to give you what you wanted, and I gave it to you, and you shut it down, and like, because you just don't understand what's happening.
Because I think it's just human nature. We ask for things, and the minute we get that thing, it's almost like you don't believe you're worthy enough to be given that thing, or you don't believe you're worthy enough for it to how I just asked for it and all of a sudden it's here. Now you want to be skeptical, you want to question it, you want to, but I get it. It's just human nature. And then why do you think you were calmer?
I prayed for it, and I think when you pray for something, you also have to work towards it.
You have to believe in it.
You have to believe in what you're praying about.
Because even now you're telling me you're praying for it, but my head still wants to question. But then how did you know that you got it? Because you pray, it's like you want to question. We constantly want
I
to question.
feel like because I prayed for what I got and I believed in like what I asked for, I got it. And I like felt it, because last year I was always so panicky. Like even with studying, I couldn't sit down and like actually write notes and like learn it. But this time it was like I was literally like I was calm.
I noticed also the way you had, what's the word?
I had a sense of control.
You had a sense of control over your feelings and the way you were engaging in your studies. You were writing down your notes, and every time I would ask, because I was in panic mode and saying, Azile, because I think I also was just like, no, there's this girl, this is June, is she okay? She's not asking for anything, and I was just like skeptical in your calmness. I was skeptical about your calmness. I'm like, you're just too calm. And in my mind, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I wonder how that report is going.
I'm also thinking
something
about that
we said we're not going to focus on.
But I'm also thinking about that as like just myself. Like I'll go back and I'm like, I don't think I was supposed to be feeling as calm as I was when I was writing that maths exam. Like I'm literally thinking about my reports. And I've noticed, not saying like it's gonna happen, it always happens, where towards the day where I get my report, I start feeling very anxious. I don't eat.
She feels so anxious.
I start crying.
Exactly.
My emotions just go everywhere.
Exactly.
It's like I turn into someone else.
I'm hoping the same calmness that you had with or in between or during the exam, you keep that same energy. Because it's the truth. Like as he gets so anxious, her anxiety, and I notice it, like she'll then shut us out, she'll close the door in her room, she'll just be acting very weird. Her emotions will be she'll be overly sensitive, and then because I know what you're going through as somebody who's also quite hard on myself, because that's what I think it is. It's just being hard on yourself, and you kind of setting, or you have a certain expectation of yourself, and that's where that comes from. Because you're really just like, oh my gosh, what if this? And when you have expectations, I've noticed expectations are never, they never, oh my gosh, my exams are going, my reports is going to be amazing. You always think of the downfall.
What if this?
What if it's bad? What if it's?
But I feel like we're not taught, we're not taught that by our parents on how to accept things that like go wrong. We're not even taught by the school. Your teachers don't even say it's okay. They're like I don't know why.
There's pressure. There's excessive pressure.
Yes. Yeah. I understand the thing of like setting goals and working towards it, but there's that thing at the back of your head where, because literally your report either says pass or fail. If it says fail and you just made it like you thingied it by 1% on an important subject, it's a fail for everything. You don't look, once you see that word, you don't look at at least I did well in my maths, at least I did well in these like subjects. This is the only one I can improve on. It's just 1% or like a couple of percent. It says fail, so you feel like
you failed
at everything. Not only in life, you just everything. You literally, it's just...
That's intense. That's intense because, and I like the fact that you said our parents didn't teach us. We were not taught. I myself, I know that I always saw my mom work from panic mode because she was also a single mom, 4 kids. So I think I also picked that up, and I think it's only now that we speak about, you know, like handling our emotions and being hard on ourselves and how we shouldn't be hard on ourselves. But it's sometimes so much easier to speak about something and then to put it into action. So I know that I'm still working on myself in that sense because I'm still very much a tough cookie on my own self.
Because every time it's like, oh my, like you ask me, how was the exam? Like, you know, it was actually nice. It was calm. I get that.
Yeah, because and I think I get that. I get that worry because I think I'm panicking, and it's a bad thing. It's not a good
And
thing.
you used to say it a lot. Every time you were in the car, and you get a call from the clients and you ask them how did the interview
Not
go?
the client, our
The candidates, yes.
So I work in the people environment, and sometimes when my consultants go to interviews and stuff, and whenever a consultant comes back and they
says,
calm,
it was a good interview, you know. They ask me like, you got it right. My mom would always be like, hi, like every time you drop the call, you're like, I know this. This was not a good.
This one didn't get the. But most of the time, that person that came back saying the interview was good, it was so. That person never ever got the job. But the person that came back in a panic mode. But again, it's what you say. It's not being taught that. It's knowing that, oh my gosh, if something is calm, it's too good to be true. There has to be some kind of.
There has to be, yes. You have to be huffing and puffing
in order for it.
Because that's how I felt after writing the exam. It's like after writing the exam, I'd pack my bag nicely, I'd take out my phone and I'd walk to the gate. I wouldn't even I think it's also because I helped myself. Every time I was done with the exam, I'd always go back to the book to look for the correct answers.
But then is that a good thing?
No, it's not. That's why I stopped.
Especially after the exam.
That's why I stopped. I'm like, I can't do anything. So I said, it's fine. I won't ever see this book ever again. I won't even look for it. Because I used to do that and I'm like, okay. Even this thing of people discussing, what did you say to the question? I just feel like punching them. I'm like, you know, the exam, I left the exam behind me. I walked out of the exam room. Stop asking me silly questions. Don't ask me those questions.
I cannot stand that.
Like, what did you do for this question? You know, I said this and
the minute the one question is wrong or the one answer is wrong. But now also, I also used to go. I used to think to myself, okay, fine. That person wrote that. Doesn't mean my answer is wrong because the papers are not back.
You get scared when everybody gets the answer that one person got, and you are just sitting there with your tweet. I don't know what your answer was, but you're sitting there, and everybody's like, yeah, and I calculated it this way, and you did something so different. You're sitting there, you're like, I wonder what answer is wrong.
You're like, oh,
okay,
is that what everyone wrote?
I used to go, yeah, I also got that answer. Yeah.
Lying. But I also dislike that. I dislike that so much. But still, on the whole topic of pressure, and I don't think it's something that people should sleep on, especially nowadays. With all of the rates that teenagers are, I'd say. I don't even want to go to the fact that they're committing suicide part. Just how many teenagers are sitting in therapy for anxiety, are sitting in therapy because life just feels so much pressured, so much more harder, so much more. And I've noticed, and I think I say this to you all the time, like just how intense school has become for you guys. And then on top of it, there's peer pressure and there's social media that's putting pressure on you, and there's your parents putting pressure on you, because not every parent is going to think, oh my gosh, okay, Azil is busy with her exams, let her maybe not do her chores, let her
me, I still wash the dishes anyway.
But tell the truth, you do have help. Don't act like you don't act like you Cinderella, please. Now Come on, tell me. You do have help.
I do have help.
Exactly. So, and I'm talking from an experience where, and at the time, I didn't know that that was me going into depression, living with my stepmom in matric, and her expecting me to do the dishes, expecting me to, and I'd be like, dude, I'm in matric. Can I not focus on everything else that's happening in the house? But that was that experience, and I still feel like school then and what school is now, and the pile up that you guys have, and all of the other pressures that come with just being a teenager. Because as much as, okay, fine, I had dishes to wash and whatever, but I didn't have the pressure of social media. I didn't have the pressure of, oh, I need to look skinny.
I feel like life just gets harder as we grow.
As the
And
world
not only that,
progresses.
it's like, not only that, it's like there's not as many opportunities that we have now that you guys had then.
I think there are opportunities.
There are.
It's just
but
that nowadays one has to focus on specific skills. I think like people should focus on, because there's less jobs rather, let's just say that.
that's what I meant by opportunities. Like we now have to create our own, and that's even more pressure. Because sorry, but my generation is a spender. We love spending. We love money. The money, you know.
But if you're gonna spend money, you're gonna have to
Work for it.
Yes.
But how do we work
And
when there's no
working.
jobs?
No, but also remember, as working does not only mean getting up and going to work for
But that's what
the
we
boss,
taught.
but then unteach yourself that, because you can. And I think I say this to you all the time, that Azile, you are so skilled. You're such a special child. I mean, Azile, there's obviously the video that we played before this, and no joke, Azile, I did not teach Azile how to make a sandwich. I did not stand there and say, this is how you do this. It literally, it was a natural thing. That is a God-given talent. It's a God-given skill. It's for you to enhance it. And then I think beyond that, think, okay, how can I use this for myself, to grow myself or to make myself money or whatever. And I think that's how the youth of today should be thinking, and nobody should be thinking, which company am I going to be working for? Which boss am I going to be getting up for?
But what about, like, you know, as much as we have that today, like we have people to help us think about those stuff. What about the people who don't, like the kids who don't have access to that? They go to school, they're taught that you sit at the desk, you keep quiet for this time. When you're this person, when the higher person of the teacher says keep quiet, you guys keep quiet. When it's time to work, you guys work. You are taught this thing. I don't even think they teach anymore. They read what they see in the textbooks themselves, because sometimes they don't even understand. You know, for example, there's a teacher of mine, I'm not going to say which teacher, but one of my grades, my maths teacher. I asked for help on a question. The first thing the teacher did was go look at the teacher's guide for the answer, because it literally breaks it down. It didn't come naturally. It's like, how are you teaching us something that you don't even understand yourself? Teachers read directly from the smart boards and they just mix it up in their own words. Do you understand what you're saying, or are you just teaching on the spot? If we were to ask you this question 2 weeks later, will you understand it yourself?
Give me the same
you
answer.
Guys are they're giving us work that they don't even understand themselves. Not understanding how hard it is for us when we don't even have help. We go to a teacher, we ask them for help. The first thing they do is they look at the teacher's guide, because it has all the answers for them. They don't need to really think that much. But then they expect us to be able to answer a question like that when it's asked.
I remember the other day you were saying, you went on to say, it's unfair how school doesn't teach you other ways or different ways to think. Was that what you said?
To process information. Because like you go to school, they'll be like, okay guys, that is our lesson, please do activity this. The bell rings, lesson's over. You think to yourself, what did I learn? But then on TikTok you'll scroll and there's these people telling you like there's so many methods to help you learn. You read through your information, you cover everything, you blurt everything you know out, and you focus on what you don't know. There's a I think it's called Feynman or Freeman method, where when you teach it, like it's a method that is scientifically proven that when you teach it to someone else, it sticks in here. The doodling method, like when you're reading through and you just start like you're not writing, you're reading through your notes and you're doodling, like you're just scribbling everywhere. It's scientifically proven that as you start writing, all that information comes back because you were reading and your hand was moving at the same time. We're not taught stuff like that. Instead, we're taught that, okay, this person did this here, A, B, and C, A, B, and C. Class, please do activity this. Teachers go sit down, they do marking. Then they be surprised at how you don't understand this. Well, I was taught I was given the information. I was just not taught how to process it.
But then are you, now that you are aware of other ways?
Yes, I use those ways, and I think that's why one of the reasons why I was calm, because I use those methods. Like I would either teach it to myself and read it to myself, or do the doodling method. Like if it's specifically like history, if it's the subjects I need to understand and read information. That's why I think I knew all my information when it came to my essay. I knew that like there's a strategy that I learned that you always start with the harder questions, so that the thing is, because like teachers don't really care that if your exam like questions are in order, as long as all your questions are there and you've answered every single question. That's why with my history, I started with my essay first, and I did the what's called the source-based questions last, because I knew all the information I needed already was in the sources, and this essay we had no sources or help with it. So I literally started blurting everything out, like all the information on the topic was Mushweshwe. I started blurting everything out on the source-based question, like there was a paper that was empty, and I used that to kind of get me through the essay. Like that helped me, like reading the book, like reading the information on Mushweshwe out to myself in the mirror helped me remember all of that stuff.
That's intense, because I mean there aren't other people who are as explorative as you are, and like you're saying, there's not everybody at school understands that, oh, if I go onto TikTok, maybe I might find a video, or I might find. So how, if you were to give somebody a heads up that didn't have that sort of privilege
Of what?
of being more also, but how? Because I mean, if the person doesn't have access, they don't have access. How else would you want somebody to kind of navigate the whole, I need to study, but I need to process it in this certain way, and this is how it's going to help me?
You teach them. Like even if you like as old as you are, as young as you are, you can teach other people. I wouldn't, like, for someone who doesn't have I wouldn't mind writing down everything for them, but in a summarized manner. Like I wouldn't mind doing that for them, because it's my way of helping them. At the end of the day, they understand what's going on, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like nowadays schools just focus on your hair, your eyes, your makeup, your legs are showing,
all of the
your arms. Exactly. They don't focus on
things that are not going to
even.
How does your hair bother you when you're writing your exam? How does your eyes bother you when you are learning from a teacher?
How does me wearing the smallest sleepers affect me? How do boys with what's called earrings affect their thing? Does the thingy shine there on the paper and then it makes them blind? You know, sometimes like. Yeah. And I feel like people take it as disrespect, but I'm the type of person to speak out about things. Like the other day I was late. I wasn't late. One of the people in the class were late and they were getting a demerit. And I'm like, okay, we are students. We get demerits for being late. When teachers are late, what happens to them?
But remember now, you can't put yourself into... I know, because they're teaching you something else. You guys are all humans, and that's why they set rules, right? They are set rules because they are saying, okay, we would like uniform. We'd like every student to be here at this certain time, so we're able to have assembly. So class is supposed to start.
We barely have assembly.
But besides that, I mean, I think that's where the whole coming late. I'm not saying teachers should be coming late. I'm just saying I think that's the whole idea of school, the schooling system for me is creating uniform, creating a standard, a certain standard. Everybody must look the same. Hence, there's a uniform. Everybody must think the same. Hence, there's one person standing in the front and telling everybody else, okay, this is how we're going to do
And that's
this.
what I feel is wrong. Like, I don't know why, but I feel like that is so wrong that there's one person. Like, as much as you guys could discuss it as a class, Oksalai, what the teacher says is what's going to be in the exam. And if you say otherwise, your answer's wrong.
What you mean as much as you'll discuss it?
As like, for example, in what class?
Don't say names, don't say...
In the LO class.
Yeah.
As much as you can do, like let's say you guys are speaking about sexual orientation, like the LGBTQ
Yo,
and
I'm
stuff
feeling
like
hot.
It's like talking about the LGBTQ and stuff like that. As much as you can have discussions and discussions on top of discussions, as long as what the teacher's PowerPoint says, that's the correct answer. So it's installed that that's the only correct answer.
Okay.
Your opinion,
Your engagement and your opinion.
that was just for fun. It doesn't matter.
But doesn't it help you kind of process? Because now you haven't only heard from what the teacher said, you've engaged with your peers. And, that opens my mind a little bit more on what this topic is about and how I can expand in my answers.
It
Doesn't it
does,
help?
but I don't know. I just don't understand why can there not be multiple answers to a question. Why does there only have to be one specific answer to a question?
But with your essays and
Even not for my essays, like even like maths, for example, you only get taught one or two methods, not knowing there are so many other methods that could get you to your answer. And sometimes.
But that's also life in general, actually. If you think about it, there are so many methods for living life. There's so many different ways. There's so many different ways you can learn from one particular mistake that you made. So I'm saying, I think because school is a uniformed place, they want everything to be the same, and that's the unfairness of it. But how do you, let's speak about you individually, deal with those pressures and those biases, rather?
I don't deal. It's school. School is school. You can't change anything about it. You just have to get through it.
No, but like...
I imagine my own school. I'm telling you, I always tell my friends that if I were to have a school, I always tell them about it. If I were to build a school, do you understand how music is a key to opening someone's mind? I'd allow students to have earphones, but to be smart, I'd have the earphones connected to one playlist. In like the whole room that a teacher can play for them. They'd have like earphones, like headsets, all connected to this one device, which a teacher controls and plays like calm, like jazz music and stuff like that. Just to kind of because I've noticed, especially with me, I think better when I'm in my own world. When I have no outside distractions and stuff like that. I'd allow kids to have beautiful, colorful hair. But it would be more like...
You don't think it would be a distraction for... Now it's like, oh my gosh. And I know I'm totally against teachers worrying about people's hair. But I'm just trying to think from a societal point of view. Because society is always just like, oh my gosh, that's how it should be. And that's it. And that's that. But now somebody with pink and orange and green hair, say for example... Here they at school. That's
what I'm saying. At least I'd have options in my school. Like this thing of you're only allowed to have one stud in your ear. I'm like, no more than 2 or 3 studs in your ear per ear. If that's how people want, if they want earrings in their ears, that's the thing. no more than 2 colors in your hair. At least they can do like 2 different colors in their hair. I'd give them that option. Like, you understand?
Yeah.
I'd give them options. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'd give them options. I'd listen to what they like, to what they need, and I'd think if it's reasonable or not. But now this thing, your skirt needs to be 4 fingers above your knee. If it's longer than that, you need to get a new skirt. Okay, are you the school? You're gonna buy me a new skirt.
It's uniform. It's uniform. But I want to know as like, I like the fact that you spoke about your calmness, because I know as your mom how the anxiety thing used to be a big thing for you, and really, really surprised me this time how much more settled you were, how much more. And I want to, like, how did you get to that point, and how would you give advice to the next person who possibly the next teenager or the next somebody your age, and we know that what you guys are battling with right now, just in general, because we're speaking right now about just school and the pressures of school, and how you were able to like calm yourself down. You reached into other methods of studying and processing all of the stuff, and that kind of calmed you down because you felt more in control. And then how do you use that same example in your other world, which is not school, which is just peer pressure, which is just people that come from like really tough parents who don't want to listen, excuse me, it's this tea, it's making me mad. Yeah, parents who are just like really hard, and maybe the child is trying to reach out and say, everything is not okay right now. I need some sort of help. I need to communicate, and I don't know how to communicate certain things. How would you say, okay, give advice to that person? One, about, say, somebody who wants to reach out to their parents. And then 2, just regarding, okay, we'll speak about peer pressure, because I want to go into that with you to find out how's that in your life right now. But firstly, somebody's out there, they were having a hard time during the exams, and it's the second term now, June exams, they really had a hard time, and they don't know how to reach out and become better. And now you want to give advice, as in, maybe how about you try this?
No, I don't really know how to give advice unless I'm in the situation, because it just comes out. But for me, it's like, pray and believe in what you're praying in. Believe in yourself. And I've noticed the more you surround yourself with positive things, the more positive outcomes you get. Because I've started, like, you've seen
what were some of your methods?
In the morning, I'd make sure I wake up, I make my bed. I listen to motivational things. I do affirmations. That was my thing every morning. And starting a day on a positive note, it's good. Like, I've noticed, it just transforms you. I don't know how, but it just transforms you.
It plays on your mental
exactly.
status.
Even I'd sleep listening to affirmation instead of scrolling on Instagram and like, oh, I wish I had this. Oh my gosh, look at her waist, it's so beautiful. Oh, look at her legs, look at her face. She looks so pretty with makeup. I'd sleep with affirmations in my ear.
Oh wow.
And it's like, you sleeping to that, I am happy with where I am right now. I love myself.
So it brings you, it makes
goes,
you content.
It gets stuck into your subconscious mind, and it works with you throughout your day.
Wow.
Waking up also, not going on your phone like, oh my gosh, this person, they're already doing this. Look
so
at them.
Focusing on yourself.
Focusing on yourself and
your
the
present moment,
yes.
and putting positivity in yourself.
Exactly.
And not looking outwards to other people.
People think that when you're when you're sleeping, you're just sleeping. Your brain is still working. Your subconscious mind is still awake. That's why you wake up sometimes and the first thing you think about is, oh, let me go see what this person is doing, because you've gotten so hooked on.
Used to it.
I would sleep I'd sleep and my subconscious mind is not thinking about this person, and that's the first person I wake up and it's like, okay, what do I need to do? Am I just gonna lay in bed and sit there because that's what I see, like that's what I'm used to? Or will I get up, will I make my bed, will I listen to affirmations and affirm myself and believe in, like, that's one thing I've noticed, believing in what you affirm yourself, in the things that you're doing. As much as other people may think it's stupid that you wake up and you tell yourself you're beautiful, and people are like, oh, you're Jane alone now, you think, like, it's for you, it's not for anybody else.
For anyone
exactly,
else.
It's for you. I've noticed
and
this.
obviously that person who will find that a problem, will find
they're not
affirming
okay with
yourself
themselves
and
they
loving
can't do it
yourself.
themselves.
Exactly, that means there's
Yes.
something wrong with them, and
Yes.
it's a bigger problem. It's not. It's
For
not
me,
something
it's just focusing on you and like where you're going and what you are right now, and ways to improve you, instead of like thinking of ways you like things and the ways you don't have, like the things that you don't have. Think of like, oh, how can I get that? How can I work towards getting that? Like there's just a, like I think I have this mindset right now, because especially because of the people I listen to. Like
I wanted to ask. Sorry to cut you. I wanted to ask because I know that wasn't your norm. That wasn't your day to day. What got you to that point? What got you to that point? What got you to the point where you're like, no, something has to change? Yeah.
I don't like talking about this.
No, you
but
must talk about it. We're here to speak about everything.
My therapist about this also, and I'm like, after the breakup I just went through now, I pinpointed so many things that happened in this relationship to my relationship with my dad. And that's what clicked in my mind. That's like, you need something that needs to change. You need to understand yourself in order, because I like, you need to understand yourself in order to like be with someone. Not only be with someone, but just to understand yourself. Like understanding,
because being with someone, it also doesn't just mean
and forget about other people. Not only that, forget about other people.
Yes.
Focusing on you.
But that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, when you say be with yourself, it doesn't only, because right now you're with me, but also still you can be like, yo, mommy does that. Ooh, I also want to be like that, and then that could hurt you because maybe you're not supposed to be there at that moment in time.
That's why it's just.
Or your friends.
Yeah.
Maybe your friend has something and you want it, but you just like, maybe not. It's not for you at that moment in time.
That's why I believe in like praying. Things are meant for you, and for me, like are meant for you only. If what can I give an example? Let's say it's Christmas. A Christmas present was given to you specifically because there was a reason it was given to you. Then you look at Nita's present and you're like,
the unsatisfaction.
Exactly. You can't, not that you can't be unsatisfied, you have to be satisfied enough with yourself. So when someone gives you something, you're like, oh no, I have that. I've given myself that already. Even if you get into, not even like, I don't like, I've noticed I don't like talking about other people. I'm focused on myself.
Because where is it going to get you?
Exactly. But for example, people who are in relationships, like teenagers these days, they look for comfort, they look for things that they don't have in their lives. That's why I would go into relationships looking for my father. And it's like, I look for that reassurance, and then if I don't get that, I'd love to go back and be like, no, I have that for myself. I can reassure myself. And that's why you listen to it in affirmations. I am beautiful. I am happy with myself. I am confident. It gets stuck in your mind because it's like.
And how does those motivational? Because I've been hearing as you listen to a lot of like those
the motivational
speeches and yes, and I mean that's also just been giving me like a reminder that, hey, you remember you used to do this, you used to do that, because I've slacked a bit in that. But I like that you've picked it up, you know, and it's not something that a lot of teenagers are doing. But then if somebody would have to say to you, Azili, I'd like you to motivate this set of people and whatever, how would you then, because obviously teenagers or kids rather, because somebody else is kind of wanting to better themselves and do better, they'll try and make a joke of you and make you feel small and make you feel like, oh, you think you are know-it-all. How would you, because that alone would be peer pressure. Because now you trying to better yourself, you're trying to do something that's different for you, that works for you, and helps you kind of maintain your level of headspace and thinking and calm certain anxieties down. And then somebody will be like, oh, you think you're better, whatever, look at you. And that kind of makes you feel like, oh, now everybody's looking at me.
That's not what I'm thinking about right now. What I'm thinking about is I'd compare them to me. Look at you pinpointing what I'm doing right for myself, and you put like you can't even do you're not doing that for yourself. Instead of being like, oh, how can I get her to help me? You're thinking, oh, look at you because you think you're better. No, I'm helping myself. I'm not helping myself so that I can help you at the end of the day. I'm helping myself so that my cup stays full. So I can, if I need to fill myself up, I'm able to do that. But like it's just that type of thing. It's like you sitting there pinpointing everything that's
looking
wrong.
at all the wrong.
Exactly. And that's your mindset. But my mindset is I look at the wrong and I try to fix it to make it the right. So that's the first thing I do. And I learned, I saw this other thing when you were saying how would I motivate someone. This guy told me, he didn't tell me, I listened to it. He's like, your mind is like a garden. You, like weeds, you can easily grow grass. All you need is sunshine and the rain will do it itself. That's all you need. But if you want to grow jacaranda trees, the beautiful ones, you want to grow roses, you want to grow all these exotic things, you need to make sure your soil is okay and it's nurtured. You need to know you're pouring the right kind of water. You need to know that it's always clean. There's no dirt, like dead leaves everywhere and stuff like that, to make your garden look beautiful, to nurture your mind. And it's like this other guy I was listening to. He's like, people don't notice that their minds degrade every single day. You thinking
because
that
your mind is a muscle.
Exactly. You think you're sitting there, okay, I'm fine with where I am right now. I have my house, my car, like I'm good. I know what I'm doing at work. I go and I do the same thing. You're comfortable. People need to get used to being uncomfortable. They need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Instead of saying, although I know how to do this, what other skill can I learn? What can I do what can I do that I haven't done?
To stretch my mind.
Exactly.
I've been learning Portuguese. Isis is laughing at me. Guys, I'll be going to Mozambique for the first time this year. And I'm excited. So I've been teaching myself Portuguese. And that is me renewing my mind, opening my muscle, and learning something new. But this madam has been laughing at me because of the way I pronounce things. But anyway.
I'm glad you're learning this. You speak for both of us.
Anyway, off topic.
Yeah, I'm like.
But that is a beautiful analogy. I like that understanding.
And he's like, you need to, like, instead of sitting there and being like, oh, today I'm gonna go see these people, and I know just today being in that space, instead of getting up and being like, what am I gonna add to myself today? What value am I gonna add to who I am? What am I gonna learn about myself? What is something that I'm gonna try to do differently and keep trying to do it differently until how am I gonna motivate myself instead of gonna be like, I'm going to maths again. I'm like, oh.
How do you rethink?
Yes, I'm like, okay, maybe that day was not a good day, but what am I going to learn today? What am I going to learn that is going to help me? Maybe there's you go in to the positive. Like my teacher told me, because there was a time last year when I was sitting and I'm like, I'm scared of this test. Like, what if it doesn't come out like this? And I found myself saying that to my friend. I'm like, no, he was saying, what if it doesn't come? I'm like, what if it doesn't? And I was actually shocked at myself that came out of my mouth. Because I'm like, what if this is actually a good test? What if everything you remembered, it comes back? Yeah. What if you actually enjoy doing this test?
Wow.
I found myself saying that. I'm like, okay.
And I'm sure he didn't feel like you were weird.
Exactly, he did. And he's like, yeah, hey. And he went to the bathroom. Because I was also shocked at myself because it's like, I've never thought of anything.
But it's
like
because
that.
of what you've been doing. You've been working on your mind.
Exactly. And your mind people don't understand that a person's mind is the strongest thing ever.
It can play games.
It really can. You go, like, even like you go, you'll watch something, and that's like, I don't know, like a mind is such a powerful thing. And it's like if only people knew how to train their minds to do positive and to be positive.
I'm so proud of you.
Would they be so like strong and affirmative? You know, if only people knew how to work on themselves. And I was telling myself today during my therapy sessions, and I'm like, I figured out my own answer. And I'm like,
which you didn't want to go to, because therapy can be hard, guys. As much as we speak about therapy a lot, because Azzy and I both participate in therapy, it's not a pretty thing at all. It's not. And especially if you go there with the intention of wanting to be a better human being and to really kind of dig deep into the things that are hurting and need you to explore them, and so you can engage with them differently in the world. Because people think when you speak therapy, this person has
issues. Oh, this person's doing this.
It's the person does have issues. The person does have trauma, because trauma, people don't understand that trauma is something that it becomes something that is built in you, that you need to literally unlearn. You need to. It's like a wound. It's like a sore, and everybody that comes into your life has potential to dig up that wound again. It heals. The scab. Yes.
And you start bleeding.
And then somebody comes by saying something as little as, I don't know what, that scab is off. And again now, you need to. So that's what therapy helps with. Therapy helps with literally you talking about that sore and what pains you in that sore, and when you got that sore, and when you felt yourself getting that sore, or when did you fall to get that sore. And it's like, now let's kind of mend it. Let's bandage it. Let's mend it. Let's heal it. Let's see how we can. And it doesn't necessarily heal, because I feel, as much as this platform is called Healing on the Blue Couch, our healing comes from speaking and talking and engaging in certain conversations that could be painful. But for me, the healing is the process of, should somebody else come and kind of trigger that, you are now able to see and navigate yourself around that trigger and be like, oh, okay, I see this. Oh, okay, now I know how to navigate it. It's not that sore is going to be removed. That pain is still going to be there. So that's what therapy is, and that's the painful part about therapy. It's that it's digging deep. It's going into that sore and being like, oh, here's the pus. Oh, here's the ooze. Ooh, that's where if you touch there, it's a bit sore there. So and I just had to interject when Azzy spoke about therapy, because it's not a pretty thing, and sometimes she doesn't like going to it, and sometimes I don't like going to it, but we understand how much you need it in order for us to be able to sit here and have these conversations like this. So yeah, that was me too. So you spoke about how when you went to therapy today and you were focused on,
I was speaking about the brain.
Yes,
I was speaking about the mind. And I'm like, people, like, not people, but it's like, I think the way I've also, because my For You page has changed on TikTok and Instagram. My For You page used to be people posting items and material things. Now my For You page is scriptures. Huh?
For you?
For you.
Oh! I'm like, I keep trying to hear
you getting old. But it's like, it has changed.
I keep trying to figure out, what are you for you? What's for you?
It used to be material things and all of that. Now it's scriptures. It's so people who motivate.
What you've started focusing on has changed your timeline.
It has changed my timeline. It's changed the way I think and everything. Because I was telling my therapist, it's like, especially the people you hang around. I'm like the people I used to hang around, like the people I called friends. They were like, oh my gosh, I want to have this many kids. My husband's gonna do this. The people I hang around now are just like me. Exactly, guys. Like marriage is such a deep topic. It's like I look at people so sluts these days. And even my friends tell me to fix my face. It's like you already thinking of ways to commit to someone when you can't even commit to yourself. And I'm like, the people I hang around now, they understand who I am. They understand that I don't want to have kids. I'd rather say, okay, maybe I will have a partner, but our child will be the business we build together. That will be our child. It will be the travels we take together. It will be the new places we discover together. And then maybe then will I only start thinking about kids. But will I only start being with someone once I know who I am and what I want? That's literally
because it kind of makes sense. I know, like, as teenagers,
you forwards, puppy,
want to find things out, and I think this is also the main reason sometimes, English. Sometimes I sit down and, because the relationship I have with Azil is very intentional. And it's intentional in the sense that I always go back to how I wanted. When I grew up, I wanted to be parented the way I parent Azile. In just, hey, be open with me, let's talk, because I've been in this world. I'm turning 39 soon, and I've been on this earth 39 years. Being on this earth 39 years does not make me the master and the knowledge and the knower of everything, but let's engage. Let's see where I can help you. This is what has happened. And what I like is that she'll give me something she's going through, and I'll give her an example of my life or a certain period or a time that I went through something similar. And I'll say, okay, this is the route that I took. And then I never kind of say, this is what you must do. I always say, okay, and how do you think you should navigate it, or what do you think the best option would, or sit with it so you can kind of understand because you know yourself. And Azile is also kind of is like very aware of consequences, what that certain decisions lead to certain consequences, and also that did not come easy. That conversation or those conversations, or even me having to share my life as an example to Azile, was a very hard thing before us engaging in therapy, or before us before therapy, because therapy kind of opened up my mind as a mom, and the direction I was now taking as a parent was totally different, because I was also in the beginning very much a dictator parent, very much my way is the right way, and I'm the head of this house, and I'm the parent here. And I saw at a very early age, when Azzy was in grade 5, that this is not going to work. This is just bringing us lots of trauma and lots of fighting and it was just very, very tough parenting at that time. And I'm not saying that parenting became easier. I'm just saying, what am I saying? It did kind of, not easier, but it's more manageable, because now it's more of a partnership and this is where we're trotting. Okay, this is how we're learning together. Okay, this is not working. Okay, how about we learn to communicate in this way? It's that. It's no longer hierarchy where I'm the head of, and here's my citizens who now need to listen to me. And every now and then I back off, and I'm just like, okay, this is not where we want to go. This is that direction we want to go. And Azile and Khanya will bring me back. And they'll be like, no, you're going south now. Let's go. This is the way we're going. They'll remind me. They are my teachers, constantly teaching me. So it's just been open. I think it's just being open to learning. It's being open to discovering. It's being open to wanting to navigate what you normally do on a daily in a different way, and then you land up in a different situation. You're like, oh, if only I had decided to do this earlier. And I think that's what you did a lot of this time around with your studies, with you, and I saw it. I saw the change. I saw the calmness, and I am very proud of you. Very, very proud of you, and I'm very proud of the way you handled it. And I know now we're sitting and we're waiting for the report to come. And that's something that we are still both working on, because we had a discussion, and I say this all the time. We had a discussion where I had said to Azile, I'm no longer going to look at Azile as a grade, as a, oh my gosh, she came back with a A. And now, yeah, we're all excited and things are happening and whatever. And the minute she comes back with a D, my face is grumpy. I'm upset. I don't want to do the things that I promised that I'm going to do anymore. Because I noticed how much it affected our relationship as well. And it affected Azile. Because, and I think that's what also brought on the anxieties. Was that if you don't come back with this certain grade, or if there's a fail somewhere, then I'm going to be the dragon, and I'm going to be a monster to you, and I'm going to, because of my upbringing, where my grade was the one thing that brought a big smile onto my mother's face. If I came back with the best marks, because I made sure that I wanted to make her smile, I wanted to make her happy, so that kind of filtered into who I became as a parent to you. And I'm not saying that it's going to be like, it's going to change like that. It's going to be a gradual thing, but eventually we know that I want to get to a point where you do well in a lot of things. There's a lot of things where you do well. There's a lot of spaces where you are just, I don't know, like, for me, I'm completely proud, and there are times, and because I'm a human being and I'm your mom, where I sometimes look back and I'm just like, ooh, that could be better, but then I think back and I'm like, okay, this is something I need to still kind of heal from, or kind of rethink how I would have been to myself, or how I would have liked my mom to kind of react to certain things. And then I have to think to now, which is the current, which is the you, and think, okay, maybe if I try react that way to you, then it would change the trajectory altogether. So now, if you ever get kids, or if Khanya ever get kids, then it's a different route that you guys are going to take. But I really am proud of you, and I'm really happy with what I've been seeing. And I hope that you carry on with it for yourself, not for me, for yourself, because like you saying, how it's been changing your mindset and your thought process, and just listening to you kind of or like how you were saying about your classmates or your friend or whatever, when he was coming with negative self-talk, and you quickly put him back into perspective, and you were just like, no, what if it does go right? What if it does happen in the more positive sense? And I know that you can't always be on the positive, because things happen, things happen at home, things happen when you wake up in the morning. You're not feeling all bright and merry all the time. But I think, like you're saying, maybe just the affirmations and already programming your mind to kind of offset or set off on a more positive note in order for your day to look brighter.
So the last thing you end your day with is the first thing you start your day with.
So I enjoyed today's conversation, and I feel like, I like the direction that you're taking, and I'm going to take some things from you as well. I'm going to be motivated again and go back to listening to my motivational stuff, because I know that really helps me also just trigger into like a good space in the morning and for the day. Woo! Another beautiful conversation that I've just had with my beautiful daughter on the blue couch. And I think that's why we call it healing on the blue couch, because it's just, generic, not generic. They're not generic conversations, actually. They are conversations that are meant to and should be had and should be made a norm with all families. Because, they should be made, conversations like this should be made to be a natural thing. Big ups to us for another video, another episode. This one took a bit longer, but we're here, we did it, and we are excited to share. So, like we always end our videos, we want to just say thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, thank you for being for commenting on our videos. We are looking forward to more of your comments. We're looking forward to hear what more you guys want to hear from us, what kind of conversations you possibly having difficulties with, maybe as a mom, and you trying to just trying to get to know your teenager better, your daughter, your son better. Maybe you're a daughter or a son who's a teenager, and you trying to kind of navigate certain conversations with your mom or your dad or whoever. Hopefully that these conversations that Azzy and I have help you kind of open that door. If you're a teenager and you're watching this, please get your parents to watch, your mom or your dad or your mom, whoever you're closer to, and whoever it is that you feel like you'd like to have these conversations with. And we are really looking forward to kind of get more engagement, as in what is it that you guys would like us to speak about more, what topics you'd like us to navigate,
just knowing more about us also.
Knowing if you want to know more about us, what sort of challenges that we go through, we're happy to share. Please just let us know. And also, please, we are not experts in anything. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a mom who is learning every day how to do this life thing with my daughter and my son. I learn all the time from the both of them. I learn all the time from my daughter, and I'm also always just sharing my life with her. And sometimes, like I said, it's not always easy because it's not something I learned from my mom. So it's something that I'm teaching myself, and it's just an everyday trying to see, okay, what works, what doesn't work for us. So we look forward to engaging more, looking forward to comments, and toodles. Goodbye. And thank you for watching.
See you in the next video.
See you in the next video. All right.